Hey there, welcome to a brand new episode of Kyusho Korner. I'm Sensei Mish, and today we're going to talk about tape. And not the sticky stuff, a new acronym that I came up with when it comes to teaching pressure points. And I kind of already teach pressure points that way, but now it's kind of official because I have an acronym. So let's talk about it. Okay, so I bet you're asking yourself, what does tape have to do with teaching pressure points? Well, like I said, it's an acronym. So let's get it up there. T-A-P-E. Okay. Now, there are differences between acronyms and initialisms, and I just want to go there for a second because there's a lot of you out there that I've met recently that just don't know, okay? That they don't know the difference. So just to cover that quickly, an acronym is a series, basically letters taken out of a series of words to create another word. That's an acronym, okay? That's what we got up here. We're gonna cover the words that make up this word. An initialism is a series of letters taken out of words. Usually it's the first letter to create basically letters put together. So like FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, USA, United States of America, those are initialisms. They don't make words. Now we could argue ASAP versus ASAP. That's kind of a gray area, but we're not gonna talk about ASAP today. We're gonna talk about tape. So now tape is, I did not go out and go, ooh, I need to create an acronym to help teach pressure points. It just kind of appeared, okay? So, and originally it was gonna be simply just ape. That's kind of how it appeared to me, but I know it sounds a little bit weird. My wife hated it though. She absolutely hated it. Thought it was stupid. And so I was like, okay, well, how do I make it a better word? Well, our first letter stands for, and I'll use a different color here, stands for target. Okay? Now, target, when we talk about a pressure point, the most important thing that I think people should know is the location of the point, okay? Now, if we have the location, which when it was ape, it was one of those where I just assumed that we knew where it was or we had talked about where it was and the name of it, okay? And so when my wife was like, ape sounds stupid, I was like, oh, well, automatically I would think location is the most, it's the most logical. But then it became lape, and that didn't sound right. And if we turned it into an initialism, LAPE is too close to LAPD. So there was that difference. But I was in a training lab with Rory Miller, and I said, hey, I've got this issue. And he goes, target, make it tape. And I was like, well, duh. So now it's tape. So target equals the location and name of said point, okay? You need to know where it is and the name of it. Now, whatever you name it, it's fine. I've always used acupuncture point names just because it's kind of like you could look up in almost any acupuncture book, and if I tell you a point name, you'll be able to find it in the book. So there's that. So we have target. The next one is activation. Okay? You know where it is, you should know how to activate it. So that is twofold. You should know not only how to activate it, which it could be a rub, a strike, or a push, but you should also know the correct direction. So, how to and direction, okay? Now this is where this is where this kind of came about. So for me, I'm more of a polarity person than I am an element person. And so for me, when I teach, I'm teaching polarity first, okay? Okay. So now I've always spewed forth all the other information, but not in a certain order. Now this takes part in what order I think you should know it in. What I feel as an instructor is most important in order. Now, for polarity, is it yin, which is negative, or yang, which is positive, okay? Next, and I kind of already gave it away, is elemental, okay? What is the elemental value of that point? Now, me personally, I used to be very much an elemental person. So 20 years ago, polarity and element would probably be swapped, okay? Maybe a little bit more than 20 years ago. But the way I teach now, I feel it's more important that you know polarity over the element. However, as a Kyusho person, as a practitioner, instructor or practitioner, I believe that you should have a basic general knowledge. I kind of coined the term, I don't know if I haven't heard it before, it just kind of came out of my mouth once, of being Kyusho stupid, or maybe that wasn't, was it Kyusho stupid? Well, obviously I can't even remember, but as somebody who practices pressure points, who is a Kyusho Jitsu person, should know at least the base value or the primary value of the point for the element. Just so if somebody's talking about it, you can go, oh, I understand that. Now, of course, I say primary because there are points that have multiple elemental values. You don't need to know all of that. If you're an elemental person, that would probably be important. But all I really care about is that you know its primary value. That's it. So when we think about target, activation, polarity, and element, we get tape. And that makes sense. It really does. Even ape made sense, but again, my wife thought it was dumb, and I agree. So moving forward, in these Kyusho Corner episodes, I will be listing the tape of the point. That's why we have an episode dedicated to tape. Now, if this makes sense to you and you like this, please take it, use it, okay? That's why it's here, okay? And if you don't, that's fine. You know, I try and make pressure point education as simple as possible because it's not hard. It really isn't in the end. So, as a recap, we have the target. It is the location and the name of the point, okay? Primary, you should know where it is, okay? Activation, how do you activate it? And what's the best angle and direction? Polarity, is it negative or positive, and how can you affect that? And then elemental value, what's the primary base element, okay? There you go. So take that back to your dojo, play, have fun, and remember, always be good to your uke. I'll see you on the next episode. Regardless if you're asleep or you're awake, I appreciate you hanging out to the end of this episode. Now, if you are awake and you have not liked, shared, subscribed, or done any of those really cool social media things, please do so now. And if you like this channel and this series, hit the notification bell. It'll let you know when a new episode airs.